All right, what's up YouTube? Just got back from the Fred Hall show. So I didn't get that much this year. This is my first time going. I just got a lot of my stuff stolen. So I'm kind of trying to replace it, but didn't get as much as I wanted. But I'm gonna show you what I got anyway. So far, really all I got was this reel that I won spinning the wheel. And then Turner's had a deal where if you fill this box up with whatever you want, and it was 60 bucks. So I'm gonna show you what I got there. All right, so like I said earlier, I kind of got this here box for 60 bucks at the Fred Hall show. Loaded it with a bunch of interesting baits, so I'm just gonna sort them all out and just kind of show you some of my favorites. Wow, so that's a lot. All right, so the first, I picked out the 5 baits that I just thought were the coolest that I got in my pile, at least for freshwater fishing. So the first thing that I picked up, it's been kind of a big deal recently, but the Live Target Baby Duck. Good little topwater bait. I've never used one, I've never heard of anyone using it. So I'm definitely gonna have to trying that out pretty soon. So these 5 baits, I'll probably make a video coming up of me trying them out. But even like this, that is a bat bait. It literally looks like a bat. There's some lakes near my house that are pretty deserty that have a lot of bats flying around, so I'll probably try that there. Just a giant 3D bluegill by Savage Gear. I think this thing's like probably almost 6 inches. It's, yeah, 5 inches. Huge bait. That should be a good time. And then I got a jointed crankbait from Live Target that looks like it's made out of wood and it has a bill on it. Pretty big bait, but I just think it'll be fun to throw. Like, just huge. If you get any hits on it, it's probably gonna be a decent fish. And the last thing I got was another topwater. There we are. There is our rat. So I've heard a lot of good things about these, just throwing them in like smaller ponds. I'll probably be trying them out at some of the lakes nearby. But it has a hook on the bottom, which I'm not too stoked about because I fish a lot of lakes and ponds that have stuff on the top, so it's gonna get stuck in the moss. But it has a bill, so it looks like it's gonna have some really good action. So these 5 baits, I'll definitely make a video trying out, showing you how they work because they're interesting. They're stuff that I've really never seen or had a chance to use before, so I think they're dope. Alright, so the next group of baits that I picked out were like the crankbait, moving bait, jerk baits, swim baits, and top waters that I got. These are all just the bass lures that I found in the bins that they had. So this is a square bill that I was able to pick up. Thought I'd be able to put it to use. And I got freaking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little owner jerk baits in a bunch of different colors. So these should be awesome coming up. I fish a lot of ponds where you can't really dive too deep. So these would be great there. And just fun to throw on light tackle because I don't feel like I'd be able to cast them super hard or super far with big line, but they're gonna be a blast throwing 6, 8, 10 pound test. A couple little rattle traps. They're tiny, but again, light tackle baits. Little trout, crankbait, another little bait. And then I got one of these Live Target crankbaits that I thought was super cool. So it looks like basically a school of little fish. I've never heard of really anybody using this, but it's Live Target, good brand, worth a shot. And then a walking bait, but it's clear, so that should be interesting to try. Another little trout bait, and then a couple more Live Target baits that I got that I thought were sweet. There's the bluegill, and then we've got the topwater sunfish, which looks like it walks kind of like a frog would. So that's gonna be a blast to try out at some of the ponds nearby. All right, so this is just the last of my bass baits. Picked up some curly tails, because I needed to replace a bunch. Some Cincos, a couple craws that I'm probably going to be throwing on jigs, some flukes, but these feel like I'm not even going to be able to put a hook through them, but still nice. Just a bunch more, you know, standard soft plastics. Nice crankbait. I don't know if I'm going to be using these freshwater or salt yet, but I'm probably just going to be using them everywhere. Crankbait. This is a weird looking spinnerbait I've never really seen, but instead of a blade, it has this ball here. Never used one before, but thought it looked cool. And these are a topwater popper, but they're soft plastic, so I think you just put the hook through, then you just work it like a popper. It looks like a blade bait. Just thought it looked cool, picked it up, see how they all work. Alright, these baits I just kind of had for making bait and catching inshore fish. So these are just little swim baits. Probably going to be targeting spotted bay bass with those. And then just a bunch of spoon looking things to try and catch maybe cudas and hopefully a ton of mackerel to use for bait. Okay, so this is just the hook collection that I picked up. So we've got your normal bass hooks for worming, throwing T-rigs. There's some more of those. And then we've got more of our ocean hooks right here. So hopefully we'll get into some yellowtail, maybe some rockfish coming up this year. Not 100% sure, but like I picked up a ton of that kind of hook. Some normal like swim bait heads, jig heads. Perfect for throwing in the bay. And then just a bunch of smaller bait hooks because I'm planning on fishing rockfish from the kayak this year. Not 100% sure, never really done it, but see how it goes. These are for fishing tubes. I honestly grabbed them on accident, didn't even know they were in here. Bunch of just tiny little hooks for catching bait. And I got two things of braid, Finn's braid. 30-pound and 40-pound test in the hot pink color. Never used braid, really, besides one time fishing in Belize. But I figure, might as well try and figure it out now. So I picked this up, don't know if it's good. Leave a comment if it is, because if it is, I'll put it on a nice rod. If it's not, I'm going to put it on one of my lower quality ones and just mess around with it. Thank you. So my last and personal favorite category of stuff that I found was the saltwater lures. These are mostly for like catching bigger fish. Personally, I think my collection that I got right here was probably pushing $60 anyway. So this was an amazing deal. So like we've got little jigs, that's just a baby jig. Just a bunch of different jig styles. Yo-yo surface irons, another jig, a couple wax wings, which I've never used before, but look good. A giant jig. I think this is a knife jig, never really used one, but fit in the box, so might as well. Another iron. It's called a squish jig. So one side, if you can see that, looks like a squid. The other side looks like a fish, so it's a squish jig. And an old school jig right here. All right, so my final thoughts on the Fred Hall show was it was a blast. Like the seminars were fantastic, and it was just fun to go look around. I didn't have as much money as I would have wanted, but I still picked up way more than my money's worth in baits. I'd suggest if you get there, go straight to the Turner's booth. Turner's booth, amazing. And then make sure you hang around, go to the seminars. It was just a great time. I'll definitely be back next year. Hope you enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe.